Sunday, and God bless you. All right. God help us all. That's what we need is God's help. So, anything that's on your mind, please just go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm happy to get to it, to get with it, and so on. I should probably say my thanks in the middle of the video because that's when everybody's probably here, and I'm not missing everybody, but it's just so on my mind all week that, all right, Jamie. Uh, Good to have you. Uh, it's just so on my mind, especially I don't know how long I've been doing this church thing, but I guess it's been about a year since I did that Darshan. I like had some work to do that I was like, let's gather. So I guess, all right, Alice in the dome, Alice in the house. Good to have you, and Pam. Yeah, you know, I want to say thanks for the donations, but it's kind of also it not but and it's had an effect on me like since I've been doing this work because I'm gonna go over some of this today, but I mean the financial support is like I can't say enough thanks. I can't, but it's also produced another kind of like effect in me in a good way, and I appreciate it. That just over a certain amount of time, like, people have been interested in the truth and what I have to say and what I have to share, and I'm still at it. I didn't know if I'd still be at this, right when I started because I was like, who is going to possibly be interested in somebody saying sign up with Jesus Christ and then and like the next press saying, he never lived in a body. You know what I mean? Like who, like, to work for God and have to, deliver the truth is, you just like, yeah, before you get on the stage, some of the lines you're gonna say were like, I'm gonna say this is the line. You like this. Do you want to edit this? It's like you don't, huh? Okay. Oh, well. Did you hand out tomatoes or rotten vegetables to the audience? Do you want to tell me that too? You know? That's about how I feel about some of these lives you're giving me. All right, Frank. But it's just produced an effect in me that's sort of like, help get me to the end and sustaining me in the middle, to that there's a desire of people alive. Because let me tell you, I hardly ever interacted with anyone in my life that was interested in the truth. It just wasn't like that for me. Uh, there's never anyone to talk to about the real truth. Very few along the way. And so it's produced this effect that I really appreciate the donations, the support, the I think I've proven my work on Liberty Aid Academy for many years, but then to have to lay this out for people is very difficult. It's sort of like their mama's slogan, "Hey, all you want to do is get God realization, except for one thing, nobody's gonna want it. Just there's that." It's, what you know. So it's just so incredibly difficult to go on sometimes, and I can't even tell you because like that the avatar feels pain and angst and physical pain and stuff is real all the time. I don't want to dwell on it, nothing like that. I'm just saying it's that's happening. So this is helping a lot over time mitigate that completely because it's like, oh, I'm here for a purpose and I get to do my purpose, which is help people tell the truth. And there it is. So just thank you for that. So it feels like I'm able to do my job, and it's not an easy one. So uh, I've just been feeling that for a long time, and I just wanted to say so. Thank you. I mean, it's hard to talk about anything else but Mike this week, but right? A tree fell on your everything? It fell on everything, but did it fall on any of you? Yeah. Oh, what? It's just, this game, like a game within a game. There's games within a game, yes, but there's a game within a game at the top level. I had to play the same game, so I know the game. Hard to describe the game. But I'll do my best. Uh, like Jay, good to have you here, Jay. George, oh, you're here too, George. I was saying this the other day in the WeChat thing. Oh my god. Uh, anyway, it's kind of like it's disorienting on my side to have to play this game. So I'm sure it is on your side to have to play the game because it's like an invisible game. For me to put out a free home thing and then be like, "Oh, you're not supposed to do that." That's an extra game in the game. It's like the last game of the game. Yes, there's no games past that. I said that. I said there's no game after that. That's the end game, and it's undone. But don't do it. Does it remind you of anything? You see the saying, and Mike didn't lose any of his family. They still all talk to him. So, uh, sucks for you. No, it's great. But I'm just saying, like, you know, to win the game is not easy. My opinion is there's one more game out there. Let's do the numbers, right? 8 times 8, 64 means 7 plays, boom. 7 played, dude shows up, and then, oh, there's 8 years left, right? Uh, roughly. So there's an infinite game left. Yeah, who wants to play the game of infinity, right? The Infinity War. Um, because I had to play the game too that way. There had to be something that my guru said, don't do, and I did it. And it was just, but it's just, you know, ah, like a tree falls all your entire life, and your life is just whoosh. Yeah, I know that one. So it's hard. you know, why is that game there within a game? First of all, they can't tell you about the game. You have to get a 7 play, know everything, get 7 years, digest it, and then know the end piece of the game. Well, there's no time for all that. Well, there's time for somebody to do it, but that time happened. You see, then there's gotta be time for, the end game, the 8th plane, right? The Infinity Wars, uh, here in the last segment of time, yeah. So, there's nothing that's not gonna happen that already isn't already gonna happen, and they know it's gonna happen and all that stuff. Is it fully prepared for, in every way, shape, or form. They know everything. But the game is a game, it has to be played. So, hey, this is how you win the game. It's a turf war, right? If they lose control of any physical area, you know what I mean? That means you and I get together, and when one or more of us gets together, that's the end of that. That's it. That's the end of it. That's the end of everything because that is just gonna grow like a virus. Oh, it's just that amount, and then it's like, yeah, what? You know what I mean? Is that plague starts to take over. Uh, and the ether, that whole you can't see anything rules this area. But what if this area is trying to rule that area? You see what I'm saying? Uh, like dial it backwards, and then oh, that ain't supposed to happen. Like, like, wait a minute, my My iPhone froze up. What the heck? Gotta restart this thing. Yeah. Don't It's this stupid thing needs to why isn't this thing working? It's uh, return to the original settings, would you? Bing. It's in your phone already. Oh yeah. They know all about the so-called fires in California. Of course. All ahead of time. Yeah. George, here's some old prophecy in a fairy tale that end won't come until people start dancing in the street for God. Yeah. But, somebody's gonna be playing that tune, and whoever's playing that tune is gonna be, the one, or maybe the next one too. So the game within a game is like, if my role switches over, well, who wins that role? Hey, it's gotta be something that's one. You know, think about it. Mayor Baba say, when you Indra, he talked about Indra like the devil, right? Indra, you can become Indra when you get to Indra's level. The devil's like, hey, you want some cash or anything? I gotcha. You can have, I don't know, what do you want? Everything? Would you like everything, including my desk and position? And would you like everything? You can have that too. He gets to move on. It's like, by the time you get there, you're like, well, that is the biggest, fattest no that has ever been said in the history of no's. Did I get that right? Uh, no, so this last game is a tough one, eh? Because it hasn't been that easy up to here. Michael and I spoke for about 5 hours. That's good. At first, I was talking with Hod about SS. Then I had all these questions for Mike about the spiritual side. Yeah. See a purple light at your home, he says. Yeah. I mean, that's his focus. He is the individual, literally, that after all these years of doing Darshan 3 times a week on this beach, I was told to be here, and this guy finally shows up. And there is some dude named Michael mentioned in the Bible starting a war in heaven. You know, heaven ain't here, is it? It's in ether. So you start a war over there, right? Because what? How would a tree fall down anyway? Just has to be some breath of wind, right? Has to be an invisible force doing it. We're standing in this not standing what? Like that doesn't like something had to happen. Something invisible that you could see. Can you see wind? I mean, does anyone deny wind? And if you do you feel like keeping an eye on my place here if a hurricane comes? If you're in denial of wind, I have a spot for you actually to visit at a certain time of different years coming up. Right? That if it feels pretty real, a hurricane. That's good. I mean, Jamie, you're so about as deep as anyone can possibly be on the spiritual side of yourself. You like went in all the way. The water's icy cold up in Kenish. She's like, don't worry, I'm going all the way in. Bloop. It's like, yes, you have. I'm gonna help everybody. Don't worry. This cold water's fine. I'm cool in the cold water. It's like, God dang, girl. So yeah, you're in the deep water there up in Canada. It ain't easy, and man, y'all you Canadians look like man, you like make us Americans look bad. You really do. You're so sweet. You're so nice. It's like, man, I gotta to get it together. All these Canadians are coming in. It's like they're so incredibly nice, one after the other, completely nice after the other. I guess we have one that was sort of, still having issues, so, Jamie took that on, but, I mean, just a stalwart, wonderful group that appreciate the connection through Jamie too. So, that the truth's getting out there up there is I'm so happy to see that happen, and fantastic. Thank you for that. I can sit here to say thank you all day long to everybody here. Let me see if I can move along because you want information. I'm trying to be useful, and I will be useful. So it's funny. I didn't come to this, like that. There are no other time loops. Like, how do you say you're the avatar? You're like, I got Christ consciousness. Like, I would, I don't know how to play that one well. Uh, but as the years pass and so on and all the stuff, and then I was like, wait, these guys didn't even live. There's no way. Like, first of all, because I wrote a book, right? Game of Souls. I'm not saying it's the greatest literary work or stuff like that. I'm sure it's totally not, but it has some information that's useful that hasn't been put out before. And compared to all the other books written out there that are in like hardback and stuff, there's so many books. Like, you're never gonna hear about my book, my video, like, from someone, or I'm never gonna be on and now on, if they saw Johnny Carson or David Letterman, whatever, one of them things on TV, right? Here he is, It's so you know what I mean? Like, and that's obvious at this point, right? After 50 years, that's not gonna happen. And I'm not saying I want fame. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying either. That ain't it, right? That ain't it at all. It's just noticing. I'm simply noticing. Oh, what's the difference between this and the difference between that? Okay, so not that long ago, right? I this got a little bit voice just for being in Florida. The cover popped crazy. It was me. It wasn't hell. I totally fucked this book up. But excuse my language, little people. Uh, anyway, I got this from Australia. I've been looking for this book. It was mentioned, and God speaks in a reference, like a one little uh, footnote down there in Mirabama's book. And so I finally found a copy of it and I read it. And so the beginning of this book, like it's like a thick book kind of thing. And so this, and I just read another one called Avatar by Adriel, which is a woman. Jean is a woman in this one. And if you want to read about Mirabama from a woman's perspective, I recommend that book, Avatar by Jean Adriel. Super love that book myself. It's just had a lot of feeling in it. You know what I mean? It was and, that's funny. Uh, oh gosh, jokes. I if Mike was bourgeois but a woman, okay, I don't know, but anyway, it's just from a very sweethearted individual. It didn't happen, but it's really a good perspective. I recommend it. There's a whole lot of stuff I wish there was more I could recommend. Like, hey, this is from a woman's perspective, is so, but this one actually is. And anyway, I recommend it. So I read that one, and then I was able to find this one. I read it, and it's basically they're sort of like Lord Mayor, which is this 8,000 pages or something, multi-book thing about Mayor Bava's life, and then there's these other books that are just about Mayor Bava and his life, that are like there's so many books written by so many characters on Mayor Bava's life. So, but these two, the Avatar one and this one, were mentioned in a footnote. So I was like, it finally hit me like this thing's a spell, like God speaks. So one time I was like, I'm going to read every part of this spell. I'm gonna read every part of it, including the books mentioned, and it was just the last one I got. And so after I read it all, it's like, and I written my book, and I see it when how few people are interested. It's like burn the book, burn, it's like and burn the guy too. It's like nobody's interested in that crap. It's not going to become a hardback. It's not going to be a bestseller. It's not going to be. It's not going to be nothing. There's going to be no bust of me or statue of me or what? Give me a break. So, and that's not you know, something that should happen for me or shouldn't happen. It's just noticing reality, which is what we're find ourselves in, and this reality, and then all the stuff around us, like these books and stuff. Hey, this is your past. It's like, what? I mean, because here's another one, right? And it's like this is the account of like uh hey, this is Bear Mama, and this is what happened, and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like a cat of Bear Mama's life written by yet another one. And there's another hardback edition, and it's like the most chronicled life that in history is Bear Mama's life. No one is more chronicled than Bear Mama. I'm not even a president of the United States. It's just unreal. Uh, you know, it's just incredible. And then this book goes to the history, and then it hits part three. You know what I mean? There's what are the parts? There's this is by C.B. Purdom. The perfect. It's called the Perfect Master. The Perfect Master Sri Bear Baba by C.B. Initials C.B. Purdom. Purdom. So you know Part 1, preparation. Oh, this is Bear Baba's life, and then the period of world travel, part 2, and then period 3, the perfect master. Anyway, so I get to this, and you know, this is his life, and then he's, goes to perfect master. I was like, man, wait a second, this can't happen up in here. What? These things. Because, I read about this guy, Jesus Christ in the Bible, and it was like, back when Sridhars were answering my questions, they didn't do the pullback like by the end of the game, uh, or his part. Uh, I, the stuff I had to go through. And I was like, all this guy did, Jesus, he showed up a little bit. Everybody liked him, and then they killed him on the cross a little while later. He only had a problems for like a super short time. And I was like, what? This is this was many years ago. And I was like, how come it was so easy back then? All the guy did was get nailed to a tree and he gets popped into somebody during it. Who cares? And that's it. Walk through the streets. Like, is that a joke? That's it. I'm like, after all the shit I've been through, that's what I was like, because that doesn't seem fair to me. You see, you saying that that's all he had to do compared to what I had to do. I don't want to. I don't, this was. I'm not complaining to you. Don't get me wrong. The spiritual hierarchy, my complaints don't go down. At the time, I was complaining up in the spiritual hierarchy way I'm supposed to do. You follow? So don't mess up what I'm saying. I'm telling you something that hopefully you find useful. And his response was, "Oh, it was just easier back then." That was his answer. It was easier back then. It is. I guess it's easier in the ether. That's all they have is great. You know what I mean? Heaven's easier. It's a whole lot harder when I'm hungry. I gotta eat. A tree smashed my home and car at the same time. Uh, you know. Ah, So I got to that part of the book where it's like perfect bastard. I'm like, man, there he's never going to be anything about me, not ever. And so I was trying to reconcile that with the story about Bear Baba and Jesus and all these avatars that get like, oh, that you got, God realized, Bodhisattva, all these names and cultural, right? Point is, people noticed and had a reaction in a positive way or a positive then negative way in Christ, but some way they had a reaction. You see what I'm saying? That's totally fake because that's totally not happening to me after 50 years of doing this and stuff and doing it so ridiculously in public as a joke. And here we are at the end of it. And, at the, yeah, okay, there's one game left and there's 12 people left. It's like, okay, that's it. It's funny, isn't it? Uh, so I get to this point, it's like the perfect master. I was like, there is no way. This is This is like if you were gonna create a play, you know what I mean? And you were God and you had infinite ideas and you had infinite money, you're well funded to infinity, and you had time to infinity, and you had everything to infinity, you'd be like, "Okay, we're ready, go." It's like I was thinking more like on a stage, and you're like, "No, that's the stage." It's like, yeah, that's big. That's That's big. Okay, that's a big one. Okay, so you need a big show. Okay, very got it, got it. Cause someone tell me how none of the other times look real to me. You see what I'm saying? Meaning, I took Sridhar when he said, "Hey, that was so much easier back then." Even I noticed, like I wasn't even all the way through my thing. I'm like, "Was this a joke or something? This guy shows up and people like him. Where's that part?" Yeah, that happened in the beginning, but where's the part where he just walks on stage, everybody's like, "Oh, hey, what's up? It's him." Yeah, totally skipped, you know? We're gonna skip that right on through, and we're gonna cheer for ourselves the whole place, or football. So that's not the way things roll up in here. I think you would agree with me on that. People who had actually got realized now with proof. Oh, 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 you know, yeah, oh, that's a pretty good question. Yeah, Alan. It seems like Indra has a problem or difficulty giving up the position. Totally. How do you think it is for Sridhar to put the title of Christ on you? Well, that's the job, and that's kinda what I'm getting at. Gets it first. Good. Like, that's what happens. That's why they get game after game, right? Like, I think, how does Sridhar feel? Honestly, you know, let me answer that question this way. I asked him one time after he explained, uh, I try not to have my heart break again when I say this, but, after listening to him play music first time I'd had a reaction, I talked to him, I was like, you know, he's like, "I sure hang out," like, yeah. Oh, but he would practice every day for, like, 12 hours a day, something like that. He didn't go to school. I've seen him speak 8 languages in front of me, uh, not including music, which is his first language. Yikes. Let me say it. Oh god, I hate with this. He won't let me. Oh, so bad. Anyway, so he wants me to say this about this. Uh, Let me say it. When your mind goes over to God, like you know, you can't have thoughts, so you can't have others. You're supposed to do your job, and thoughts get removed that don't do your job. They're not under your control. It's tough. So that it was easier back then. That's the point that I'm getting to. That the whole thing was, I met with Bear Mama, right? I met with Jesus Christ in the ether, in a world that we can't see. So I know they exist completely. It totally imparted all this information on me and so on. So I know they're real. So it's not that issue. But then to come out and then the first thing you all want me to say is you don't live in a body. You know what I mean? The point is God isn't going to have one game for one group of souls and another game for another group of souls that has different difficulty levels, because the end result of reuniting with God is the same result, and God wants to achieve the same result with everyone. Everyone achieved the same result and came to the end and had what they needed to be returned to God. So God doesn't want to short anyone on that experience, or you know, how far they could go. Yes. So there's no that doesn't make sense. You see that one could be easier or harder. You see? So there's a game within a game that a perfect master plays with a very few, almost no one individuals. In my case, one. For their case, right? They're just supposed to wake up one avatar and that's it. Right? I don't know who it was completely. I know Sridhar was, and I know Matthew was. Those guys totally not human. Whatever. Um, but the point is, I get to this point of this book and realize, "Nah, there's no way." And that's something after meeting with God. The nature of God is not to have different times or loops. I cannot see how that would be happening. And so all this stuff around us, because I named this one Gathering, didn't I? Like Darshan Gathering. I do Darshan, which is allowing me to open up to God, and be united with God and meet with people and be that individual. 3 times a week I do it at the drum circle, weather permitting, and it permits most of the time. So, because you do it in the rain usually, so not during a hurricane. I'm just saying I've been doing it for, 8 years. Uh, so, you know, I do my work as I'm supposed to, where I'm supposed to do it, you know. We did gather last time, and we need to gather again. We need to. I know that. It's important to. Uh, but I just remind her I do it 3 times a week. No church, no nothing and a half for 8 years straight, solid, you know. And Mike showed up. So I do that, just FYI. Church building, no church building. Like I learned what I learned from doing that, from their music and so on. You know, I heard music and had a response to it. And so that's built in within me as the nature of this, you know, skid job I find myself in or whatever, right? I have poor hearing and am deeply affected by music. So it's just the weirdest thing that my settings are on. Let's set the anyway. Uh so this game within a game, uh, at times Sridhar would answer my questions 100% honestly. And other ways he'd answer them, but not in a way that the information makes sense to me later. Like, oh, the game was easier back then. Yeah, it's easier. They didn't even play. It was so easy. You know what I mean? Like, You have to really know what's going on, like, you have to know who you are and what's going on, and that is imparted upon you. Or also what you don't know, like, I don't have my memory wiped as a child or when I came in here, I don't know. Before that, I don't know. Stuff isn't told to me, and stuff is told to me. That's it. Uh, okay, let's keep going through the information. I'll just go through it. So this saying no in a game within a game, you follow? We're in this final eighth, right? The eighth round. Infinite game, uh, an infinite round of the Infinite War. So if someone says, "Should I do this free home thing?" What's my answer always going to be, and why? What is my answer always going to be, and why? I'm just going to tell you. Somebody go to actually. Yeah, no. Let's see if anybody guesses. This is a two-part answer. Let's just say my feeling is this is not an easy question to answer. And it is. I've had to wrestle with this for years. But let's see how you do. Uh, if anyone says, "Should I use the name of God, right, to get a bankster empty home so I can, free Earth from the chains and the enslavement of the bankers, and free the whole place up?" Uh, and somebody asked me to do it, I'm gonna say no. No. Why would I say no? And why will I always say no? Why? Anyone? Anyone want to hazard a guess? A hazard and some feathers and wings? Pam. No, because it would end the game early, and that can't happen. That's what I said. That's true. Man, you do know that's true. If I do it, is your point. No, because it would end the game. That's what I differentiated it to, yes? And so I said if I do it, I end the game, yes? And I said if it's done as a game. So it's true. That is true, yes? If it gets done as a game. If I do it as a game. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, that's true. But if someone else were to do it, what? Might be a war heaven, right? Someone might get overthrown off the throne. Hopefully, my ass. Hopefully. Those are my hopes and dreams and wishes. God. Just being honest up in here, unlike the devil, because I'm not that. No, because it has to come fully from the heart of the individual doing it. That is correct, George. Alan, 100% correct. It is a curse in a way. You think? Yeah, the dude that's hung out with me the most in India says, uh, yeah. Oh my god. I mean, y'all, are they down the machine? Ooh, yeah. Now you're knocking on the door and I'm saying, "Come in." Who is it? Oh, come on in. Come on in, Jesus. Is that your name on the door? So let's use let, let's do this in the best way I can. As an example, I would say Allie, yeah. That's Allie. Well, but there's an I in that. There's an I in that. Say this. Say oh, right. When they call me the Christ or my shadow, right? That I'm casting in here. Uh, you know? "Is that your shadow?" "Well, yeah, but that's not me." "Yes, that's my shadow, but, no, that's it's on the pavement down there, that's not me. I'm standing right over here, what?" "See your shape exactly, it's all dark." Uh, that's true. Looks like it's talking and everything. It does do a lot more in here, the shadow. So, okay, an example. Oh, provide an example, please. Uh, oh, okay. Yep, alright. You gotta let's yeah, I don't think it can be done unless the ego is completely removed, and I don't think any human can fully, truly remove the ego. A human can't remove the ego, but God could do it for them. That is true too. That's super true. This lady is always on it. If she types something, you're like, straight to the heart every time. Yes, that's true. Okay, so if I say that's how you see God, and I say no to do it, and if anybody asks me, should I do it? I say no, then okay, the example is let's say let's say you're at your house, right? And you know your neighbor has like a 10-year-old uh boy who loves riding a bike and who recently had his bike stolen, say yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And all you do is see him ride around in front of your window all day long. And he told you his bike got stolen. And so if you put a new bike out there, uh, his perfect bike, he asked what it was. So you put his bike out in front of his house and on the bike you said, "Don't ride this bike," and put a smiley face on it. Do you think he'd ride the bike? Don't ride the bike. Do not ride this bike. Now, karmically, is would you say you put the bike out there, would you be culpable to what happens, him ride that bike? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they could hurt themselves on that bike, right? They could fall. They could have the time of their life on that bike, you know? He did every day, you know? So, because you gave him that bike, uh, is everything they do on that bike, is that now your fault? Is that all you? Is it? Is it really? Is it? Where somebody, was gonna go get him a bike, like, how you gonna what if that thing down the road a million, jillion, billion times? What? How in the world? But yes. There is some culpability because we're discussing it, yes? Temptation, correct, correct, correct. Uh, but certainly not a bad temptation in this case, right? You know, child coming home from work, home from work, it's the same. Coming from school, rides his bike and that's his time of day. And that's what he chooses to do with his day. It has, that's not a temptation for anything bad. Certainly, that was their happiness got removed. You're, like, trying to give it back, you know? Uh, that's the image you said, so that's not a bad image. Do you see? So so here's a question about that little boy then. Uh, I mean, how much does the note help put the karma from the self back onto the child, you know? It could have been a note, "Hey, go ride this new bike free," you know what I'm saying? sort of free home sort of says that, "Hey, do free home if you need a home. Hey, it's a free way to get it. Free home, free bike. uh, don't ride it, right? That's right for like a child come home. It's like, oh, they already have a home, so it's like he wants a bike. So if you don't have a home, you need a home. If you don't have a bike, and you're 10-year-old boy, you need a bike. Bad. So is putting that note on there, removing the karma, the connection. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm saying. I'm putting here's a bike, s- you know, free home, but don't do it. So I've been in love with the idea of a free home for a long time. Yeah. So if people ask me questions in the process, right? It of a free home, anything, yeah. Should I do it? How to do it? Blah to do it? This, that, or the other to do it? Have they just removed some of the carbon that would have been on them during the process? I think that's pretty obvious. Yes. I put it on me. So if you got to go all in to be all in and get like and win, right? Then you don't do it that way. Period. Can't. And that's why there's always some pullback of a perfect master the way there was for me, to anyone that wants to win the game. Like, don't do that. What? You're gonna kill somebody doing that. What are you doing? You put this stupid thing out here. I was like, I know, but I told you not to use it. What are you doing? Don't touch that thing. It's horrible, right? I'm just doing what God said, by the way. So don't put this on me. I didn't do this great game. Find out as you go. It's like a museum tour. Oh, what's this next thing? What's this next diorama? And by the way, why do we call them diorama? That doesn't seem like. How does this end? Ugh. Okay. Uh, what? Okay, so in this discussion, have we learned that? Have we learned that in today's discussion? Have we learned one thing for sure, and that is churches are police stations. Yes, churches are police stations, interchangeably, basically, without the section for a jail. Yes. What section does of a police station? What does it do? Right? Whisper in my ear what you did wrong, and I'll go tell the cops. Because let me tell you what, nobody's called the cops on me more than the Christian preachers out on the beach. They all call the cops on me. Because they're talking to them about what they're talking to on their microphone. And then they call the cops so many times. How are they not cops? They're cops. I mean, who could afford a church if you really look into it? Like, not even if you could afford one, but who could afford the church bills? Like, oh, we're giving away this 25,000 square foot church, and they, is like, next to Niagara Falls, it's chilly sometimes. But yeah, no, it's yours pretty much free. Uh, what's the heat bill up in there? What? Oh, now you see man, I had 10 minutes left. Pam, so, somebody skipped through when how does this thing end? I have stuff to do today with my granddaughter. Oh my goodness. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Thank you, Pam. Oh, oh my gosh, this is so funny. But that's it. You see what I'm saying? Who man, they're faking everything. Don't you get that? Like, I've been out there. I test them for a reason because I'm like, it's not right. It's not. My kids run off because they're afraid of me, but I'm like, guess who you really should be afraid of, you know? Is the one telling you should be afraid of me. That's who you should be afraid of. And why? And so, I'm not afraid to find out. And go out and see what's what. Yeah. Somebody took Lenore away from you, would you have a reaction? That's my point. Yeah. Alan, if one were to get the free home, how long do you think they would have to be in the free home under the dome? How long? From that day until the same day. 9/11, 2033. What are you talking about? You'd be like, no, but I mean, that's a really hard part of my job. I don't even want to do my part of the job. I mean, I want to do it because I want it to be done. You see what I'm saying? And it has to be done. And that's why I'm doing it. Okay, so it's not like that, but who wants to, you know, hey, Bear Baba, that great guy who wrote your favorite book that ever got rated ever. Yeah, no, he didn't. I mean, they're great books. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, no, he didn't live in those buildings and stuff like that. And is he in that tomb? Who cares? You go touch that tomb and boom, right? That's the Darshan. But so if you could go there and if he's in that tomb or not, and you get, transported to the seventh plane, where do you go to the eighth plane? Which he didn't even mention. So, but there's three journeys, but there's a fourth journey. So what? What is that all about? And who could say? Only one. And they can't say and never will say. So I'm trying to tell you, yeah, there's got to be a new mischievous chicken, and that's my concern. Let me tell you that there isn't one. That's, I mean, the dome is great and all to help people out, but as far as being in here, as a choice of yes or no, that's a no. But we have to serve. I don't mind serving, but well, if you just ask me yes or no, then no, I'd be with God. Thank you for taking on this role and God allowing me to follow you. Yes, Pam. You watch out, you watch out, or you'll win the same thing. Look out, you. No, but you see what I'm getting at? The you gotta it's gotta be a pure heart because God ain't gonna take them that got mentioned already. It's only God is in you, and you just need the truth of God. And you know, it's tough though because what are you willing to risk? Everything, and it's like, well, if your heart's that good, let me say you're a new granddaughter, you ain't gonna risk that. You know what I mean? Like, no, no, no. Like this game to say is hard. There's no words to describe how infinitely difficult this game is. To have it on the table from what I had to go through, and to even consider that you might lose your children in this would be no go, right? No, no go, no go, no go, no. So there's got to be a workaround. You see what I'm saying? So I'm the workaround. There has to be a workaround because I don't accept it because I say nobody falls. Anybody that walks with me, oh to God, if someone falls, I'm not your guy. I'm not. I get someone else because you're not God. That's my only parameter. Get someone else. It's like, yeah, no, I got you and agreed. Okay, so why did I close that book? All right. Uh, I again, I really appreciate the donations and everything. I don't just as a what I'm up against at Liberty Aid Academy, like they have this thing when you're on uh Instagram, and you could go in the back and it's like professional dashboard and like the ads. So you could boost reels from within the app, is what I'm telling you. Is what those that's all the Instagram jargon for what you could do is put money on a clip, a video clip, so that's more seen. Okay. And the usual metric they use is CPC, cost per click. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so was interested enough to click on that and go through to the website or whatever your landing page or whatever you're getting them to. Yes. Okay. So I got through to that and did it once on my own on my phone. I was logged in. First of all, the individual that does my paid marketing for me is such they won't even Instagram won't even allow her to ever log in to the app on her phone. So, but she can do it. She can log in and boost posts over for the professional dashboard, which is Facebook and Instagram together. Oh my God. From her end. So I could go into my app, but for 1 month, maybe 6 weeks at one time, I was able to get boost reels from within the app, and we got so much traffic for the first time ever, 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 ever. Was like, bam, we spiked. It was crazy. This was been about a year now or something, a little more than a year. And we our best one that we did cost per click was like 14 cents, 14 cents. And the best that we could do now out of the Southern porthole, the best is 72 cents per click. It's just pennies, right? Don't sound like much money. Okay, that's a 550% difference. You see what I'm saying? That's a 550% increase in cost. And the by far almost all the costs I have is a 550% increase over any other business out there. And Facebook and Instagram are the most productive places. Not the only places where we are or anything like that, but I'm just saying these are real numbers of, you know, when I say there's going to be no book written about me and stuff, no, I got the CPC to back it up. They control Earth by CPC, cost per click. You don't know that because you're a 15-year veteran of making every penny you make online. I'm the only one of them, right? And this Earth is controlled by CPC, pay to play. Ain't nobody seeing nothing unless you put some money down on it. That's everywhere in Earth, and it's only how much you pay, right, to get that play, right? This is what they used to call payola to get on the radio. This is payola. That's all. This Earth is run by payola. Period. If you ain't paying, you ain't getting seated. Even if you pay, right, and if you dare put out the truth, that's an actual percentage cost difference. Just letting you know. If you're one with God, He will show you the way. Unconditional trust. Exactly. But this information I'm trying to give you, if you want to walk with God, I don't think you understand the difficulty level. You see the saying, until you see this tree come down, until you see the CPC, until you see that it's literally absolutely so far past impossible to do what I'm talking about. It's so incredibly not even a remote possibility that this can ever be done. And yet, it has to be. So, you know, because of what you just said, unconditional trust. Yeah, I have it, Mike. Because they got all the money, all the control, all the CPC, they got everything, but they don't have God. I got God, and they lose. So that's it. Boom. Just saying. But yeah, that's the difficulty level. So, I just come to that realization while reading that book is what I'm saying. Hey man, the past is fake and the future's fake. Like there's just one game. There's only gonna be one game. So there has to be a game within a game to win the spot that I'm now sitting in. You see what I'm saying? Somebody has to show up. And I can't win that part. How could I? That's there's no way I'm winning that part of the game. You see what I'm saying? That means I would have any understanding of that part of the game. Well, hey, I won the game of the game that I wasn't supposed to win. You idiot! I can't win that part of the game. Okay, so this is a good one. My wife was chilling with a grandson, and he was concerned because it was windy. He couldn't see it. He's like, "What is this thing? I can't see it," you know? And, she he was just sitting they had a windy time, and he had just moved, and he was just had the door open and was sitting inside, with and just had, like, the glass door, and he just sat there looking outside, and he was just sit there, the trees were moving. He's like, "Just turned 5." So and it's like, "Oh, what is going on?" And she finally talked about it. It's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "I'm kind of scared. I can't see this. What is this thing, the wind?" You know? He's like, "It's like God." You can't see God either. God is real. It's like, and then she's like, and it was like Christmas. She was visiting. It's like Santa. Santa's real. You know? And he kind of come down off the cliff after that. So things we can't see, like electricity. I mean, there's no. Think of how you would be seen if you say, not like you're Amish, like, "Oh, I have limitations on how am I gonna use electricity for spiritual reasons." No. You're just like, now, if you're just walking around America and said, "Electricity is not real, it doesn't exist." That's yeah, that's different. That's different. You see? So you can't say, I mean, wind isn't real, because you can't see it. Can't say electricity isn't real because you can't see it. It makes about as much sense once you see what reality is and the dome is spinning above you and nothing they say is true and you actually see what's going on. How could anyone say that God is not real? Even them! That's who imprisoned you in here. What are you gonna see? How can you even sit here and say God is real when that's why you're in this prison? Because that's how they get out, by doing what God says. I told you to do what I said and you didn't, so you have to do what I say forever, almost. Uh, Another thing, like direct marketing. Yeah, it is very direct marketing. This has to be. Forget somebody to get a fish on this hook. Or the whole, oh, you wanna be one with God? Yeah. How does it look over your end over here? First time I go to Baba Center in Myrtle Beach, Sridhar bring me, "Hey, you wanna go there?" Sure, you're going? Yeah, totally. Wherever you're going, I wanna go. If God isn't real, tell me why insurance guy it's like exclusion for acts of God. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Frank. First time I go to Bear Baba Center, Sridhar brings, "Hey, you wanna go somewhere?" Should I like, "Oh, I'm going to this place." "Okay, let's go." "Sure." And it wasn't I was in Wilmington, it was down South Carolina, not that far, like 60 miles, 70 miles. Easy to get to. I was like, "This place is great." And we're walking around and stuff he's telling me about. I was like, "Man, this is a cool place. What?" And, I was like, "What," you know, "what's with his books and stuff?" Should I read his books or whatever? And he said, I tell you," you know? And, I said, Should I read the books anyway?" He's like, "Ah." This is his summation of Bear Baba's texts, all of them, by the way. Old wine in new bottles. Would you say that? Have you read God Speaks? Would you say that? I don't think so. So, you know the time loop is real. You see old wine, new bottle. I mean, old, new, old. I mean, can you even so the 5 perfect bastards that come in here are totally different role than what I have. I'm a memory wipe. They do not have their memory wipe. They are playing something and they know what's right, happened and didn't happen. And they're playing that game within a game, telling me certain information, almost telling me nothing. And I have to have my memory wiped and figure it out. That's it. And God has to tell me. And my nature has to rebel against the system to the point of give me God or give me death. That's it. Uh, until I can't be killed so many times, it's like, wait a second, just give me God, okay? Uh, so let's see what else I have in here. I don't skip nothing. So what we can't see, right? That's subtle, right? The subtle realm is like the power of what we can't see. They include everything we can't see, right? Just what you can't see, with the exception of one area. Yes, it's an exception of a certain area that is not in the subtle realm, but is totally invisible. Yep. So everything that really controls this world is invisible. This world that's visible and has tangible is not controlled by anything in this tangible realm, although it totally looks like it. But your arm doesn't use a hammer to hit a nail until what? I mean, my arm's just sitting here. It's not hitting, right? It's not writing. Mind has to tell it. You have to tell it to your mind. That's what rules it, and that's what rules the subtle realm. That's why the only invisible area that's exempted from the subtle realm is the mental realm. Yes, because that controls, right? Thoughts control what happens. And the thoughts that are, control everything are the ones that are not separate from heaven, right? They come from the heart, that are from heaven and heart and have that heaven heart connection with the mind. In other words, you can't make something happen here just because you want it to in your heart. That's not good enough. Has to be head and heart together. Can't just be. Because why? They go against the script. You would say, because what's in my heart, let me tell you what, I've had everything in my heart, and it doesn't overrule the game. It doesn't. It makes you win the game, maybe, but it doesn't overrule the game. The game has to be played the same way every time, or else it's not going to be fair to the next or previous group playing the game. You see? So there's limitations of it. So your heart doesn't overrun or overwhelm or change the game. It can't. So your heart has to line up with the knowledge. What can we do then? Right? Because of all the pain and the suffering and the banker slave, what can we do? You see, I told you what you could do. Don't do it. You see what happened to Mike's car in his house. I say, don't do it. And I say, it's the only thing to do. How am I different from our mama? Don't do it. Y'all have your respective positions already that God has placed you in that will bring you to God. And that is a fact because you were following what I say. And that is a fact. That is a fact. That is unmitigatable. That is a fact. But I think you understood what I said today. Yeah. What if I say more and go into it over and over and over? Haven't I just put all the karma back on me? Is this for everyone to do? No, of course not. Good God, no. This one thing is not for everyone to do. You can receive Christ consciousness and win this game doing what you're doing from your position now by knowing the truth and assessing every right thing you do from here on out correctly balances your slate. It balances. Everything comes to balance. You're like, I'm not gonna do anything wrong now. I'm very careful with what I do and my service and the help that I provide. Watch me, right? I'm quick to, oh, that's a weed. Hack it, right? No, I ain't gonna, I'm not gonna water a weed if I'm trying to go a garden. I just cut it down and pull it out. That's it. Separate the wheat from the chaff immediately. What? The garden won't work with weeds in it. That don't. It's like, oh, it's all weeds. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. Start yanking. This game is not easy. I wish I could make it easier, but if I do, then the game disappears. I tried to do it myself because there's no way that you could be one with God and feel all the suffering and not immediately try it because it's like it's too much suffering and I feel it. So there's no way. This is too much. God's like you're missing the point of why this is being done. Yeah, I am. It's later, it's like, no, I just want to leave. Yeah, but you can't. It's like, yeah, but I just did, so I know I can. It's like, yeah, but you can't now. You got work to do. So I bet we'll go into this more and there'll be more questions and thoughts, or there won't be more questions, there will be more thoughts. I know that some people are already using these methods out there and so on. And it wasn't, should do it and shouldn't do it. Joe, take this. This I've made as hard as it's supposed to be. Yes, you don't know whether you're supposed to do it or not. If you have other things to do, you shouldn't do it. Why? It's kinda like the traffic ticket thing, yeah? Like, what's the point of going to fight it? They're just like, "But don't give them the license." I bet he'll do what we say now. "Okay, set your yap and pay your fine. Okay, here's your license back. See you later." So, if your heart isn't with God and you feel you need a test to get to see God and you haven't seen God yet or had an experience where you met with God yet in this life, because if you have, what's the point for you and someone else hasn't? Are you doing them a favor by doing it for them, though you see God? Or might you be taking away from them, whomever that them is? I realized I was. How selfish would that be of me to take away someone's seeing God? I'm like, I could totally go see God. It's like, yep, but you can't. Nope. I know I can't do this, and I've explained why. Right? I think I've explained okay today without explaining 100%, but I think, you know, who wants to be a mischievous chicken, eh? This Poe family is legit. Just want to say, yeah, I gotta beat Lenore. That is gonna be one individual wolf. Whew, show up with that crew. That's like, no, that's my homies. It's like, that's your homies? Wow. Who are you? All right, everyone. Thanks for the support. There are times this work is so hard. I don't know if I could continue on and just all your support, financial, emotional, like physical, coming and fixing my house is broke. Like these things make it so I could do this. You make it so I could do this each week. It's so difficult. I can't. What's the point of going into difficult? That's like whining. I'm not into whinging or whining. That's not what I'm doing. Practical. This is what we need to do. That's what I'm into. But I'm just saying on my end, it's very difficult, and your support makes it so I can do it. So thank you. You you're more than your feathers and wings up in here, you know. I want you to earn God. I'm just here to help you find God. That's all. So God bless your success with that. Jamie, thanks for the support. Thanks everyone. Have a wonderful week. Sunday, yes, these are your loved ones in here in their individual foxholes gathering. And these are the ones that are going to see God at the end. So these are the true, right? Nothing in their heart but their love for God. That's you all. Same. All right. Until next week. Okay. I'm working on the gathering and stuff. I need this. We're going to get it together. All right. They're coming through this. Okay. All right. God bless you, one and all. So happy there's a new lady on the seat. And God bless the door and Poe family and all that happiness and everyone else in here and their families. All right. God bless you, one and all. See you next week.